The words are in this phrase, in this sentence, that are composed of Mawsoof and Sifah. Yes?
So the last two words are Sifah, Murakkab Sifah.
These two?
Yeah.
They're both Sifah?
No, like they're Murakkab.
They're Murakkab. So what would this make this one? This one would be Mawsoof, this would be the Sifah, okay? Good, that's a good guess. Anyone else have any other Mawsoof Sifahs they can identify? Al-Talibul Karimu. That's Mawsoof and Sifah as well?
Yes.
Good, how do you know?
Al-Talibu is, yeah, like I say, match perfectly with Al-Karimu.
Yeah, they do
Good.
match.
They
Both
do match.
definite.
Very good. They're both definite, they're both masculine, they're both singular, they're both in which
Both
state?
yeah.
They're of hard state. So that's Mawsoof Sifah.
Even the next two. Yeah.
Even the next two, which are
Rajulan, Bakhilan.
Bakhila. How about Tamran? Tazijan.
Yeah.
Alright, let's try to figure out what this says. What does Wahaba mean?
He gifted.
Gifted, good. What student?
The
The
The what?
Smart student.
The
The student, the generous.
Good, so the generous student.
Yeah.
generous student.
The generous
gave-
student, gifted.
Rajulan Bakhilan, the miserly man.
The miserly man?
A miserly man.
Good. He gifted a miserly man. A cheap man.
Yeah,
Tamran, which mean tamar, right?
Yeah, what's tamr?
Date.
Dates?
Yeah, dates.
Tamran?
Fresh?
Tazijan.
Fresh guess.
Fresh dates.
I just guessed.
Fresh dates. في علبة جديدة.
In a new Ulbi, I'm guessing that's container?
Yeah.
Yeah.
علبة. Is that what you say in Amia? You say علبة?
Ulbi, yeah.
علبة,
That's
right?
exactly what it is, yeah.
So علبة means container. جديدة means
New.
good, in a new container. In this phrase, what is our pair?
What happened?
What's our fa'il?
The generous man.
Yes, both of these, the Mawsoof and Sifah, both form together in conjunction. This Murakkab forms the
Fa'al.
fa'il. What's our maf'ul?
Rajulan, Bakhilan.
Rajulan bakhilan. This is who he gifted. What did he gift?
Tamran, Tazi.
These are both maf'uls. Because he gifted someone something.
They're separate.
Because Wahaba needs two maf'uls. Because he gives someone something.
Yeah.
There's two people who the actions, two things that the action's happening
The
to.
man getting the gift and the
Thing being gifted itself. Very good. And fi here is what?
Harjar.
A harf jar. Therefore, the thing taking the jar state would be
That Murakkab right after.
this murakkab of Mawsoof and Sifah would be ulbatin jadidatin. So this is just an example of how Mawsoof and Sifah can function as the fa'il, can function as the maf'ul, can function as the majroor, the thing in the jar state. Okay? Any questions so far? Okay. Let's look at some more examples. Let's try this one.
Oh,
Farmer rode the donkey.
Like in Arabic, when you talk slang, you say fallahi because usually farmers are
The poor,
illiterate or illiterate.
the poor farmer rode
Okay. Let's identify what words we even know and don't know before we try translating something. You guys help me out. Rakiba,
You rode?
row. He rode. Al-fallahu,
Farmer?
the farmer. Al-faqiru,
the poor
Fakir is
poor.
poor. Yeah.
Poor. Himar,
donkey.
Donkey.
al-tajir,
Tradesman.
tradesman, businessman.
Businessman.
Alright? Trader. Yeah. As-sarir,
Fast.
Fast. Okay.
Fast donkey.
You rode there fast.
Sorry.
All right. Let's start at the beginning. Rakib al-fallah. What should the word fallah end in?
Yeah, he's in the rough stage.
Why?
He's on that road.
He's the fa'il. Very good. Al-fallah al-faqiru means what? Rakib al-fallah al-faqiru.
The poor farmer.
Road. Himar al-tajiri. The merchant's donkey. Why is himar mansoob or in the nasb state?
And that's what's being rode on.
Good. So it's the maf'ool. Why is tajiri majroor or in the jar state?
That's mudaf ilayh.
It's the mudaf ilayh to himar. What about as-sari'a? Why is this mansoob? Because it's the sifa of himar. It's not the sifa of at-tajir. How do you know that?
Because it's in the nasb state.
Because it's in the nasb state. So what does this mean?
The poor farmer rode the merchant's donkey fast.
No,
fast
not the merchant's donkey fast.
The fast donkey.
The fast donkey.
The fast merchant's donkey?
So the donkey itself is a fast donkey?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because what's this describing?
The donkey, because they're both in the
nasb state. So how do we translate this? Road. The merchant's fast donkey.
Fast donkey of the merchant.
Or the fast donkey of the merchant. How about if I change this to this?
No, that changed.
Now the meaning has
The
changed.
merchant is big.
Yeah, so what would this mean? The poor farmer rode
The fast merchant's donkey.
the fast merchant's donkey.
Dang.
So the words are basically in a single change of haraka are influencing the entire sifa structure of what's being described and where. An example from the Quran, because this all seems like theoretical fun, right? But in actuality, this concept is very common throughout the Quran, where you'll have a sifa, and that sifa will have a specific haraka, and that haraka being changed can affect and influence the meaning of the ayah. For example, in Surah Al-Buruj, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَهُوَ I want you guys to try to translate the Quran, because this is not just a class of fun Arabic. Okay, so huwa is from our Arabic 100 class. What type of word is this? It's a what? It's a pronoun. Very good. What does it mean? Is this attached or detached? Attached? Detached. What does it mean? It's always at the beginning of a sentence. Always. So what does it mean?
So it would be end here, no? End.
Yeah. Because if it's at the beginning of a sentence, it's a subject. And if it's a subject, there's always a hidden is or are in English, right? So, and he is. Wadudu. What does that mean? Al-Ghafur. Anyone ever heard this name of Allah?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Most forgiving.
Yeah, oft forgiving.
I just hear
Yeah, so you,
the most merciful.
yeah, exactly. So the oft forgiving, the most forgiving. But what's this structure going on?
It is most.
They're both that's a sifa. That's a Mawsoof. The next thing's a sifa, right?
And Al-Wadud is another name of Allah. What does Wadud mean?
Most affectionate.
Loving. Yes, good. So affectionate, loving. Comes from wood. What's wood? Yeah. Wood means love. Wood means love. Okay. Mawadda is another word for love. Mawadda. Has the same letters. Mawadda. Wow dal dal. Root letters mawadda or wow dal dal. Just like wadud, wow dal dal. Okay.
So is that plural?
No.
The one right there.
No, neither of them are.
What do we
You're probably thinking that because the wow.
Yes. The wow in between.
The wow noon is usually makes things plural, like muslimuna.
Right.
Not wow in
Right,
the
so-
middle of two random letters.
Okay.
Okay. Da'af, forgiving. Al-wadudu means the loving. How do we translate this?
He is the most forgiving.
You have to use commas, right? You have to use commas.
This is Mawsoof Sifah, so how do we translate it?
He is the most forgiving
And loving?
and loving. The most loving. Or the most forgiving, the most loving.
He is.
You guys forgot all the principles when we shifted to the Quran. Okay, when we have a Mawsoof and Sifah, like Al-Fallahu Al-Faqiru, how do we begin translating?
You flip
So in English, what comes first?
the adjective.
So what? Yes. So in this, what would come first?
The noun.
The loving?
No, when we translate to English, we would start with the adjective, which is
The
the
loving.
loving, forgiving one.
One.
Right? He is the loving, forgiving one. Okay, we're not done. This wasn't why I brought up this ayah. Okay?
There's more to the ayah?
There's the next ayah. Dhu in Arabic is a mudaf, which means,
That's a mudaf?
yeah, don't worry about this right now. It just means the possessor of. I think I spelled this wrong. Whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, it's right actually. The possessor of. But it's a mudaf. That means the next word should be in which state?
Tesco, which is Jarr.
So how would I say this? Dhul ar. Is that what it is in the Quran?
Yes.
Yes, it is, right? Dhul arshi. What's the next part of the ayah?
I just took it through it, so we're recognize that.
What's the end of the next ayah, guys?
I think it has to be Majid. No, it's not Majid.
Come on, Hafal. Come on, Mubashir, you know the ayah? You learned a little bit of Arabic and you forgot the Quran by trying to apply the principles of grammar to the Quran. It's Dhamma. It's in the Quran, it's Dhamma. Okay? That's weird. Because...
Oh, wow. Who was? No.
Okay. So let's explain what's happening in the Quran for a second. Dhul Arshi means what?
The possessor of the throne.
Good, the throne. Okay, Allah is the possessor of the throne. Al-Arsh is the throne. Al-Majid. Anyone know what Al-Majid means?
Majestic, right? Or magnificent?
Yeah. Okay, so we'll use majestic. I don't like English anyways.
Yeah, me too.
But majestic?
Yeah.
Okay.
Majestic sounds like Sihir.
Magic.
Yeah, I mean, majesty, magic, I don't like this.
Magian.
Yeah.
Magic. Okay. The majestic. The throne, the majestic. However, Al-Majid is in which state? Therefore, it cannot be describing what? It can't be describing the Arsh. Because the Arsh is in which state? The Jarr state. However, this word in the Quran is in the Rafat state.
So the possessor is the majestic.
Yeah.
So what does this ayah mean? Dhul Arsh al-Majidu.
The majestic
The possessor of
The majestic possessor of the throne.
And that's because we know the tashkil.
That's because we know the tashkil. But here's where it gets even more interesting. In another qira'ah, it's Dhul Arsh al-Majidi.
Yeah. Changes the whole meaning.
So now the meaning of the ayah is what?
The possessor of the majestic.
Allah is the possessor of the majestic throne. We're not going to read in this qira'ah because you haven't studied it. But other qira'at of the Quran have harakah changes on the sifas that change the meaning of the ayah. Not rendering them wrong, but still changing what it is that's being described.
Today I was reading, it said, and Hamim went to what is it,
Yuhi and then yuha.
It changes to yuha.
Yeah.
And I had to stop in the middle of the ayah because of the meaning change. I mean, قبلك كذلك يوحى إليك والذين من قبلك. Sheikh told me to stop there when I said يوحى.
كذلك يوحى إليك وإلى الذين من قبلك. الله العزيز الحكيم. Yeah, مولاهم الحق is another one, right? It's not. No, it's not. There's no. Yeah, but I think that's what some students read on accident, right? When they try to continue. Yeah. Anyhow, this is a practical example of the Quran of how harakas can change the sifa and what it is the sifa is targeting as its mawsoof.
Right.
Okay? Let's move on to some more English examples that you all will do. And I try to keep my examples as comprehensive and complicated because it challenges every concept you've learned so far. So let's say the three sitting believers.
Oh. Have my charts.
Oh, you mean the plural of
Jalasu. You gotta have the wow.
No, jalasu means sat.
Oh, you're right.
Oh, sitting. That means it's gonna be in.
Sitting is jalisun, but the plural of jalisun is jalisuna. Okay? So the three sitting believers enter into.
So is that first person then?
No, it's not. It's third person.
Oh, is believers feminine? I'm looking at my chart. I don't know why it's not.
Let's see if we can figure this out. Before you guys try answering it yourself, tell me what words you don't think you know. You think you don't know. Any words from here in Arabic you think you don't know? Sacred.
Haram.
Haram. Haram.
Yeah, why is that? That's something me and my brother argue about.
Because if a place is sacred, then halal things become haram there.
Okay.
Like talking
Right.
loudly.
You know, obnoxious fighting and a lot of different things.
Yeah, that doesn't happen in the masjid because this is a sacred place. Yeah, so I just said a sacred place is a place where even halal things become forbidden. Yeah, like shouting. Shouting is normally halal, right?
Yeah.
But do we do it in the masjid? It's haram in the masjid because it's a sacred place. So the Arabic word for forbidden and sacred is the same.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Another concept.
Okay, anything else? Any other words we need to know? Into,
That's it.
in. Let's just say in.
Yeah, apparently no. Enter
Yeah, we'll just say fi. You don't even have to say into in Arabic. You can just say they entered Allah's sacred house. So let's just forget into for this example. Say Muhammad. We'll forget into for now. Just erase it. Okay? So let's try it. You guys have some context. How do we say the believers sitting? You guys try to figure it out. I'll give you a minute.
Oh, sorry.
When I'm translating it, I can't do the sacred house of Allah. I'll do the house of Allah and then sacred after.
Yeah, remember, mudaf and mudaf ilayh cannot be separated. So they have to be next to each other.
So Allah's house, so the house of Allah. And
So
then,
do that one first, do Allah's house first.
And then the sifa comes
add
after.
sifa later.
so the priest,
What?
Is it valid or what the
For three? We're not going to say three.
Yeah. Just make it.
We're just going to say the believers. I just mean, give me plural, don't give me dual. You don't have to say three.
thought, but I don't know.
Is it regarding sitting? Is that where your problem is?
Yeah, I'm gonna find the future tense right now for us.
Future.
No, it's just Jad.
Where do you think future?
Because you said that the
What, present and future are the same
makes
thing?
the reference.
Yeah, here
So-
too. Yeah, here
So it's
too.
just Fatha.
It's just Fatha. Yeah, at the end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking. Like, it's not alone. It doesn't sound right.
Yeah, but there's something's wrong with this sentence. That's all I can say.
The verb sit has
There's some other stuff wrong too. Think about it.
Let me double check.
conjugate.
That
think
part I
of-
was thinking about right now.
Yeah.
The next one.
But most of it is right. You got the skeleton worked out.
Okay. Yeah.
Safi, you have an idea how we could say this?
Like in Arabic?
Yes, of course. Not French.
Maybe like دخلوا.
Let's just make this a jumla ismiya. A jumla ismiya.
It's media?
Yeah. Because you haven't learned some things yet. That would, like a jumla fi'liya is a little more complicated. You haven't learned all the rules.
So you want us to do?
Yeah, if it was a jumla fi'liya. Huh?
So you would want us to do the believers first?
Yeah, the sitting believers.
So the believers.
What'd you say?
Oh, I get it. Sitting would be the sifa of believers.
There you go. You were thinking about some verb, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But we're describing them. We're not saying they did that.
Right. They just happen to be seen like we are.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
We're
yes.
actually sitting. It's not-
Yes. You see, I'm just getting inspiration.
We're just
looking
not
at
sitting.
you.
I see. I think I found it.
Okay, tell me. Just sure, yeah, just say it. Nobody's gonna hear you.
الجالسون دخلوا بيت الله الحرام.
No,
No.
you're closer. That's wrong.
Okay, almost.
Very close.
Okay, I'm happy that it's true.
Would believers be definite or be indefinite? No?
Just one harf.
I'm saying
That's what I'm
the.
thinking. That's what is
Be,
it?
okay.
Yeah.
Al Muslimun?
Oh, I got it now. I see. Okay, I'm ready.
Mubashir, you ready?
Yeah, okay.
Alright, we'll let you try. Come on. That's fine too.
I think I see it now.
Oh, I'd put Muslim.
That's fine. That's not a big deal. Like that?
Isn't there another edit?
There's not different there.
Very good. Just seeing if you remember. What else? We're not gonna say into.
Okay, no. Baytullah
I did the same thing.
Baytullahi. Haramu. Perfect.
Is that correct?
Oh.
I'm thinking something different now.
Is that what you're saying, Mubashir?
Yeah.
Oh. Does it have to be Al Bayt?
Right?
Al Bayt.
Al Baytullahi? Like that?
1 second, let me think. So that's the mudaf, no, you take off the L from the mudaf. So that's fine.
Good. Bayt cannot have alif lam because it's mudaf. It's what's being owned. It's the Allah's house. So mudaf cannot have alif lam. So y'all got that right. Al-mu'minun al-jalishuna. Let's see if we agree on that.
Yes.
No, I think they should be in the Nasb or the Rafa state.
Okay, yes? I got you, Amir. 1 sec.
I just had the whole order backwards.
Why?
I put Daphne first.
You mean dakhalu?
Yeah, he made it Jumla Ta'liya.
I said you can do that. But for now, we're keeping it ismiya because I haven't taught you every rule of Jumla Fi'liya. So we're going to keep it Jumla Ismiya. That order will be maintained like we have it in English. So we'll say the 3 sitting believers. Is this correct for the 3 sitting believers? Amir says they should be in the Rafa'at state. And you say that because...
Actually,
No, you said they should be in the Rafa'at state, which is
they're the
correct.
one entering, yeah.
Yes, good. What I haven't taught you yet is these words are in the Rafa'at state even though they end in Fathah.
What?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, so if you have a plural word that ends in waw noon, The wow is telling you that it's in the rafa'at state. If it was in the nasab state, it would be al-mu'minina,
Yes, I see now.
al-jalisina. So these are in the rafa'at state. Good observation though. Very good observation. So this is correct. Al-mu'minun al-jalisuna means the sitting believers who are in the rafa'at state. Dakhalu, is this verb tense correct?
I like it.
How do you know? Because we have dakhala, dakhalu, which is what we're using because it's plural, masculine, third
If it was two
person.
believers, we dakhala.
Very good. Very good. Now, the third part is where everything's going bad.
Really?
Okay. Baytullahi is wrong. Daqi, why?
Because bait is the
Bayt is the maf'ul. It's what they're entering into. So this has to be made into
Oh, I see.
Baytullahi.
So that
Bayt
takes precedence
Allahi.
over the-
Over what? Over what? You asked that question a lot. So remember, mudaf is not supposed to be in the rafa'at state.
Yeah, we just happen to put it that
We just, it's just in that state before we make changes.
Before we make changes.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So Baytullahi. Haramu, is this correct?
No. I only said that to match the.
Yeah, so how would you change this?
Harama.
Harama. Shamrez, look at this. You made this mistake too.
Yeah.
Is this correct?
No.
Why?
Because bait in this situation, the mudaf is ma'rifa.
Yeah, it is definite.
Yeah.
This word is definite. Remember, this word used to have what? Alif lam. We took the alif lam off. That doesn't mean it's indefinite, but whatever is describing it still has to be, whatever is describing it must also match it in its definiteness. How can I make this definite? There we
I
go.
was wondering why.
That's nice. That's nice.
Understood? Taqi? Good? Shamrez, you good? Muhammad?
Good example.
It's beginning to match with what we've been studying. All right, let's look at some more.
What if you didn't say three?
What?
What if you didn't say three comes out of nowhere?
المؤمنون الثلاثة.
Yeah.
Why would it be female? Now you're getting into very hard territory.
What happens?
Don't-
Always definite.
Always, by default.
Yeah, I thought it's like you remove the L when it has a or
No, because listen, if something's owned by someone else, it's not a random object anymore. You know, there's no such thing as a random thing that belongs to someone. If it belongs to someone, it's now defined by the fact that it's owned by so and so. It's defined. We're not saying a pencil. It is defined by the fact that it's Usman's pencil. Make sense?
You can't steal stuff. I can't just own a random car. That's not mine. That's
Yeah.
my car.
It has to be yours specific. So mudafs are always ma'rifa, always definite. Okay, let's try another one. Let's say I'm gonna make this a little harder. Ooh. Guys, sorry. It's a little harder.
Sincere prophets. You added a Sifah.
The two sincere prophets said to the tyrannical king Allah's truthful speech.
Let's look up some words.
Okay.
So would I use NBA? Because it's plural.
One sec, I got you. So let's start. And then, by the way, in the course of my examples, I like to give you concepts you don't know because it's an intro to what you will have to learn.
Gotcha.
And if you like I taught you the wow represents what state? The rafa'at state. When we get to that lesson, it would become much easier to grasp. So the first thing we have to figure out is how to say each word.
Yeah.
Okay. What words do we not know?
Sincere. I feel
Sincere.
Like I know it, but it's just
I'll look them up.
There's many words. I'm going to use the word that's mentioned in the Quran, which is nasir. Because the prophets in the Quran say that. وَأَنَا لَكُمْ نَاصِحٌ. The prophet says, I am sincere to you. أَنَا نَاصِح. I am sincere. Nasih can also mean someone who gives true good advice. Because someone that's sincere gives nasiha, gives good advice. Okay. Nasih is the word for sincere. What's the word for prophet?
Nabi.
Nabi. However, the word here that you're being asked to give is two prophets. If you want to make something dual, there's a simple strategy. You add to the end.
Okay.
So how do I add alif noon to the end of nabiyyun?
Just add it.
So say it. Nabiyyan.
No.
Ani. Nabiyyani.
Nasty. I like
That's in the rafa'at state. That's in the rafa'at state. Nabiyyani is in the rafa'at state, even though it ends in what?
Kasra.
It ends in kasra.
There is no sign of.
There is a sign of it being in the rafa'at state. It's the alif. If it were not in the rafa'at state, it would be nabiyyani.
So it would be a yeah.
Yeah. So for example, I say akaltu tamrataini. In like slang, that's all you would say. In
I ate
slang,
two dates,
yeah. So you'd say tamrataini
Yeah.
instead of tamra
And
tani because it's in the nasab state. So in the nasab state, there's a ya noon instead of an alif noon. So in slang Arabic, instead of figuring out all the states, they just put stuff in the nasab state to make it easier. Whereas in true Arabic, you have to figure out what each word state should be. I don't know if any of that makes sense to you.
So this should be according to the stolen and proper Arabic. So,
Yes, of course. But you wouldn't say hadani tamrataini. You would say hadani tamratani. Okay? Like in the rafa'at state, you'd have to say ani instead of aini. So how do I say the two prophets?
Biyani.
And Nabiyani. But I'm trying to say the two sincere prophets. So how would I say it?
Oh yeah, you do. It is.
Let's try it. Let's try writing it out.
It's usually right.
You get confident there, Amir. An-Nabiyani. You guys said An-Nabiyani. You all understand how this means two prophets?
Right. You added the.
Because I added
noon.
Ani. Okay? Okay. Let's look at the fact that our sifa in this case is the word sincere. Where would it appear? Before or after An-Nabiyani?
Right after.
After it. Good. So how would I say sincere? Like that?
Right. Based on the Rafa.
Except guess what? The sifa has to copy the Mawsoof.
In the state, right? Or L N.
And in its definiteness, so how would I do it? Fix it.
Alif. Now. Which is gonna be shadda now, right?
Yes. So I'd say
Is
An-Nabiyyanin.
that because it's a lamb?
Yes. An-Nabiyyanin nasihu is still wrong. Because you haven't matched the sifa with the mawsoof in its
Numbers.
number.
Salihans? No, I don't even know how to make it.
Now say honey.
Good. How do we make this 2 as well?
Oh, that was for everything? Okay, that's good. Nice.
Yeah, it's for anything in Arabic to make it dual. So an-nabiyyan and nasihani is what? What does that mean?
Sincere.
Good. So for example, in Surah Al-Balad, Allah says, Alam naj'al lahu aynayn.
2 eyes.
Now, aynayn, does it end in alif nun? It ends in what? Alam naj'al lahu aynayni.
And
It ends in yanun.
so it's in the Nasb state.
It's in the Nasb state in the Quran. وَلِسَانًا وَشَفَتَيْنِ.
That's in the Rafah state.
Shafataini.
Yeah, that's also in the Nasb state.
So in the Quran you also have duals, but they're usually in the Nasb state. And Nabiyan and Nasihani means the 2 sincere prophets. Now we have to say sad. How do we say sad in Arabic? Anyone know?
Hakka?
Hakada?
No, I like his more.
Wait, did you just say hakada?
No.
Wait.
Hakka.
Oh, hakka is correct. What did you say? Yeah, they're both correct.
I think like there's a different word that fits better here.
Okay, why do you say so?
Because you don't say the recited or
You can actually say qada. But you're right. You could say they mentioned dhakara. They mentioned Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's, huh? You could say they recited. Good. So instead of said, let's just use the word for recited. Okay? By the way, like my example is correct. I just think that saying truthful speech to you all just sounds weird. So instead of qala, let's use the word for recited, which is qara'a. Except what's wrong with qara'a? Can anyone tell me? Qara'a means what? He said. We're not trying to say he
2
said.
people said.
So how do we fix this? So how would I write that?
I look like this.
That's an alif, right? I've just added an alif. So we write qara'a. Okay, qara'a.
That's correct.
That's correct so far. Now,
It's not like Arabic.
okay. Who did they say to?
The tyrannical king.
Okay. How would I say to? Ila is used for directions. Let's use li for now.
Yeah.
Okay. Li. What type of word is that?
Jarr.
Meaning the next word must be in there.
That's right.
What's the next word even gonna be?
Lil king.
Lil king.
Lil Malik.
Why'd you skip tyrannical?
It goes after.
Good, mashallah. So how do I say the king?
Malik.
So am I gonna say to king or to the king?
The king. Lil Malik. Lil Maliki.
So am I gonna write it like this?
No, with the little.
Drop the alif.
Like that?
No.
I told you guys a rule last class about li.
It's by itself.
Connected.
When
It
li
connects, right?
connects to al, then we must no. We have to cut the alif.
Oh yes, you're right.
We have to cut the alif. So li never connects to alif and alif lam, it skips the alif. So how would I write it? Now how do I say the king?
Mim, lam, kaf.
What's on the lam?
On the lamb or the gap? Sorry.
Like that?
Yeah, I like that. No. Yeah, I think so.
Then malaki?
Yes.
I don't like using the word king. Maybe.
Yes, lam should have a kasra. What is malak?
Oh.
Angel, right?
Yeah.
I was saying Malik.
Malik.
Are they actually spelled the same? Just one has a different haraka in there?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yes. Malaki. Malaki means king. Why does it have a kasra?
Just there.
Because the harf jar. Very good. Lil malaki. Now we have to say tyrannical. Anyone know how to say that? Zalim. Okay, what else? In the Quran? Tagha, okay, that's a verb. Let's use the word Jabbar. Also one of Allah's names, but not specific to Allah. Because Allah is not a tyrant, Allah is the dominant.
Oh, okay.
Jabbar is someone that enforces.
Yeah.
And someone that forces things can be a tyrant too. So the word for tyrant and enforcer are the same. So where would I put that here?
After Lil Malik.
So how would I write it? Can you guys spell it out or just say it to me? Would I say Jabbari? Like that? Al-Jabbari. Why?
That's a match to
It
definite.
has to match the definiteness of Malik. Malik. Okay. Lil-Malik al-Jabbari. What did they say then?
Allah's truthful speech.
How would I write this in Arabic? Where would I begin?
Speech of Allah. That is truthful.
Ah, good. Speech of Allah. Truthful.
Yeah. Whatever the speech, what states the speech in the truth will have to match the.
Very good, because mudaf and mudaf ilayh. So it would be the speech of Allah, the truthful. So how do we say speech? Qawl is potentially.
Kalam?
Kalam is good too. So let's just say kalam for now.
The word is Allah.
Kalam. You guys ever heard of kalam before? Have you ever heard kalam? Arif?
Yeah, the words, right?
Yeah, like atakallam. What's atakallam?
This word.
The whisper?
No. This word.
No, that's kalima. What's atakallam?
To reply.
To speak, right?
To speak. Yeah.
Kalam.
Kalam in the Arabic language comes from a very interesting verb. The verb,
The pen, right? Kalam.
that's qaf. That's qala. Not kalam.
Right.
It comes from a verb which is kalima. Like kalima. Not kalimatun, which is word. Comes from kalima, which is a verb which means to stab someone with a knife.
Are you for real?
I don't think you heard me.
Yeah.
Kalima means to
Someone with a knife.
stab someone. What relationship does that have to speech?
So speech stabs the heart.
Stabbing people.
Speech has the impact, has physical weapons. So be careful with what you say. Kalam is like kalima, which means to
So
stab.
poetic.
Kalam is dangerous, right? It's a liability. You should be careful because you will be held accountable for everything that your tongue stabs into people. So kalam. So we want to say the speech of Allah. How do we say the speech of Allah? What did kalamullah? Kalam Allah.
And that's because it's in the Nasb state, because that's what it's.
What would Allah end in?
Kasra.
Very good. Kalam Allahi. And then I want to say what else?
Truthful. Put that in the Nasb state.
Which would be what? Okay, so we can say like he said, Asa di. Help me out, Mubash, you can't give me half the answer. Correct. As-sadiqa. Why? Because as-sadiqa is matching with what? Kalama.
And can you give me a refresher as to why kalama is in the Nasb state?
Your favorite theme, man. The one you always ask. No. Why is it in the Nasb state? It's in the Nasb state because it's the object. It's what they recited. It's the maf'ul. I know objects are tough because in English we don't have to change words up because they're the object. In English you don't have to say like, he kicked the ball la instead of balu.
Yeah.
Yeah? But with my students, I would make them speak English with the right harakat. Right? So I would say I went in the masjidi and I met the imama and he recited the Qur'ana. You guys get what I'm saying? So I would make them put harakat at the end of English words based on the fi'l, fa'il, and maf'ul. Okay?
مفعول به.
The maf'ul bihi.
Okay.
All right.
Type.
You guys got example fatigue yet?
How do you say object and subject again in Arabic?
In Arabic, the object is the maf'ul bihi. The subject or the doer, I think you're thinking of doer, is the fa'il. The fa'il. Fa'il is the doer, the maf'ul is the done to or the object, and the fa'il is the verb.
Okay. And then in this sentence, the last statement is the object? Or just, yeah.
Which statement? Which statement?
Allah's truthful speech.
Yeah, that whole thing is the object. In reality, the whole thing is the object. Yeah, the whole thing is the object. But the reason this is in the jar state is because this is the mudaf ilay.
Yeah.
Make sense? All right.
I was more so wondering about, because I understood the mudaf ilay. I was trying to understand why that's in the nasb state.
Yeah, because it's the object. It's the maf'ul. All right.
I have two questions.
Sure, tell me.
Could you say, could you put kalam Allah before numeric result? Or numeric
Yeah, you can. You can.
And then, what's the dual form of hatta, like you were saying? Hatta, yeah?
Yeah. Hakaya. But the plural is not hakayu, it's hakao.
Go. Put a spoon on the wow.
Yeah. Instead of hakayu, it would be hako. Those are really complex verbs. We call those weak verbs. They start losing letters because they're hard to pronounce. Okay, so that's called martal. That's an advanced sarf exercise. Inshallah, we'll get to that.
It's khud.
Khud,
It's not
With this tape.
it is mahmuz, which is in the same category. It's not weak, but it appears in the same chapters.
Okay.
Yeah. Because there's a hamza, and hamzas like to drop as well. We don't say khud.
Yeah.
We just say-
akala and they say khud.
We say khud. Like akala, we think for the command, we don't say kul, we say
Khud.
kul, yeah. All right, Bismillah. Let's go ahead, as we've conglomerated all of these different topics. Let's kind of make some notes as to what it is that we've learned so far. We've learned about the fair. And what have we learned about the fair?
It's a verb.
It's a verb.
So the definition of it.
It's a verb, okay? Now,
Conjugation
when we've
verb.
learned of the verb, we've learned of how many types of verbs.
What do you mean by type?
We've learned of active
Passive voice, yeah.
and passive. And in active, so far, we've branched into past tense. And in passive, we've also branched into past tense.
Now we're bringing in the futures.
Now we're going to get into the present, and that's a blank for now. That's what we've learned so far of the fair, correct?
Yes.
Okay. In the fa'il, discussions of fa'il, we've learned of the fact that the fa'il is in which state?
The rafa.
What is the fa'il again? Muhammad al-Hijazi?
The fa'il is the doer.
Good. So we've learned that the fa'il is usually in what state? The rafa' state. Now the rafa' state, we've also learned that the fa'il can also be composed of singular words,
Murakkabs.
and it can also be composed of murakkab words. The word for singular in Arabic, which I haven't taught you, is called mufrad, meaning a fa'il can be a singular word, like Zaydun, or it can be a murakkab. What is a murakkab again?
Composition.
It's like a phrase.
A phrase. What type of murakkabs did we learn about so far?
Mudaf, Ishari, Sifa.
We've learned about 3 so far.
Idafi.
Idafi, what is idafi?
Mudaf, mudaf ilayh.
Mudaf and mudaf ilayh. So a mudaf and mudaf ilayh can be a fa'il. We've also learned about ishari. What is ishari?
Like when pointing phrase.
A pointing phrase. Like, can someone help me remember what those are? Because we still gotta squeeze this into our whole discussion. What is a murakkab ishari? It's been a whole week.
Like that, this.
That.
Okay, but I need an example.
Rabbit, Tivka.
A whole murakkab example. هذا مسجد means this is a masjid. That's not a phrase. هذا المسجد. What does هذا المسجid mean?
This
masjid.
Good. So murakkab ishari can serve as a fa'il. For example, هذا الرجل نصرني. What does that mean?
This man blank somehow. You know,
هذا الرجل نصرني.
This man
Needs
helped
help.
me.
No, nasara.
Me.
me.
What does nasara mean?
Help.
He helped
He helped me.
me.
Me. He helped me.
Oh, you added a harf to the end of it?
Yeah, I added a pronoun.
Or
to it.
pronouns.
Yeah. That's a type of ism. Okay, so we've learned that a murakkab ishari can compose together a fa'il. We also learned of one more type of murakkab, which was, it's called tawsifi, which is a Mawsoof and Sifah. And the only reason I'm exposing you to these phrases is because as we start studying grammar in a more formalized manner, as we start going through it in the text of the book, they're not going to talk like I do. They're going to speak in all of this terminology that would have turned you off from day one. Okay, so I'd like to expose it to you conceptually and then introduce you to the terminology. A murakkab tawsifi is a Mawsoof and Sifah. A Mawsoof and Sifah phrase can make a fa'il. For example, الرجل الكريم دخل المسجد. What does that mean? الرجل الكريم دخل المسجد. So what's the fa'il?
The generous.
الرجل الكريم. The composition of the Mawsoof and the Sifah. Good. We also learn about the maf'ul bihi. The maf'ul bihi, what did we learn about it? It's usually in the Nasb state. We also learned that it can be a singular word. Like for example, can someone give me an example of a singular word that is also an object? Huh? I need a sentence. دخل المسجد. What does that mean? He entered the masjid. What's the maf'ul here? Al-masjid. Good. We also learned that there can be a phrase which collectively becomes the maf'ul bihi. What type of phrase can it be? Huh? Good. But there's three types of murakkabs that we've learned. It can be a murakkab idafi. Like for example, I can say ضربت عبد الله. What does ضربت mean? Who hit? ضربت. I hit. Abdullahi, the slave of Allah.
Oh, yeah.
So Abdullahi is what type of phrase? It's a murakkab idaf. Very good. So this murakkab idafi together collectively is acting like what? The maf'ul. Very good. So I can say ضربت Abdullahi. I hit Abdullah. I could also say to you, for example, that أكلت السمكة اللذيذة. أكلت السمكة اللذيذة. أكلت I ate السمكة اللذيذة. Delicious fish. What type of phrase is that? No.
Delicious fish is a
Tawsifi. It's collectively forming the. It's collectively forming the maf'ul. Very good. All right. I could also say أكلت هذه السمكة. What does that mean? It's a murakkab ishari collectively forming the maf'ul. This fish, right? Makes sense?
Yeah.
So as you can see, we've learned about different phrases. There's a bunch of more murakkabs that we are still going to touch upon, inshallah, when the time comes. The time for those murakkabs is not now. This is, basically the most common types of murakkabs that you'll come across. We also learn about Jarr and Majroor, or harf jars. And we also learn about mudaf and mudaf ilayhs, because the mudaf ilayh is in the jar state. But, not bringing that into today's notes, I want you all to realize that with the knowledge that you currently have, you could in effect, use the knowledge, the grammatical knowledge you have to understand about 25% of the Quran's grammar, which is not a small feat over a few weeks. Just think about that for a second. About 25% of the Quranic grammar that exists can be accessed with just the rules that you've learned so far. And that's just me being conservative in my estimate, because I don't want to give you too much confidence that you're done. No, there's a lot more to learn, but there's a lot to celebrate about the fact that you know this. Here's where the learning gap occurs. The learning gap occurs when you learn these rules, but because of the fact that your vocabulary falls short, you don't actually apply the rules in trying to understand the Quran. So the sounds are just sounds, and then you forget what is a mudaf, then you forget what is a mudaf ilayh, then you stop looking for things, because it's not fun to just identify things and not understand anything from them. So, in today's class, what I will introduce you to is the present tense of Arabic. Just a glimpse of it before it is that we pray salah. The present tense of Arabic, al-fi'al, is different to the past tense that we learned. Very different. How is it different? Because if you look at all the past tense verbs that we learned, they all have modifications happening where in the verb?
The harakat, so the first and second letter?
The end of the verb. The last letter.
Last letter.
The last letter. So like daraba.
Oh, you're talking about that. Yeah.
ضربنا ضربت ضربتما ضربتم ضربتي ضربتما ضربتن. Yeah, ضربت ضربنا. These are all past tense verbs that have modifications to their end. If you haven't memorized it, it'll just slow you down. You're going to have to look at a chart for the rest of your life every time you look at an Arabic sentence, which is lame. Okay? To try to understand what you're looking at. So expose yourself more frequently. If you want more practice on verbs, I have a great PDF I can send you, and you can do the exercises in there yourself. But if you are serious about learning Arabic, you have to be serious about memorizing verb tenses. I know that like anyone on the internet that tells you, oh, I can teach you 80% of the Quran in like 3 weeks. The truth is, this is all glorious advertising. None of it in the real world will be a benefit until you can access it here. Okay? So just like we learned 14 tenses for the past tense, there's 14 different tenses for the present tense. What do they look like? Well, first and foremost, understand like the word fa'ala. Does anyone know what that means? He did. We have a present tense version, which would mean one of three things. You guys remember what three things it could potentially mean?
He is doing.
He is doing.
Oh, this is from a long time ago.
Will do. Or he does. The present tense meaning can mean all three of these things. He is doing, we call that present tense in English. He will do, we call that future tense in English. He does.
He's currently doing, right?
No.
What he does is just past, right?
It is still present tense.
Actually, I don't know. That's still present, no?
What's the difference?
I don't think it's some sort of state.
For example, he is working, he will work, and he works.
It's the thing he does. Like it's
Continuous.
It's continuous.
Oh, that's a state.
It's present tense continuous.
Yeah.
It's his continual state. Doesn't mean he's doing it every second.
But
It's
he's
not-
he's actively doing
But he actively keeps up with that action. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if I say to you, yarkabu, what does that mean?
He rode, right?
No, it's present tense.
Oh, he's riding. He will ride. He rides.
He rides. Like if someone says, where do you go? I say, arkabu, metro. I ride the metro. Like how do you go? I say, arkabu metro. I ride the metro. I'm not saying I'm writing it right now, but I'm telling you this is what I do normally, and I will continue to do. So the past tense is very easy to understand. In the present tense, you have to look at the context and figure out which of these three is being used in Arabic. Okay? So for example, in the Quran, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the believers, He says, various things about them. But let's just imagine in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that they do good actions. Does that mean they're doing good actions every second?
No.
Or they habitually do good actions?
Habitually.
For example, yuqimuna salata is present tense. Does anyone know how to translate that?
He prays, right? Yuqimun.
They
Get up and pray.
Establish
prayer.
establish. It doesn't say they are establishing prayer. It doesn't say they will establish prayer, but it says they establish prayer. Which of these three definitions is that? It's the third one. It's what they continually do. وَيُؤْتُونَ الزَّكَاةَ. They
Give charity.
give the charities.
They give. Which of these three definitions is that? The third one. Doesn't mean they're giving it right now. It doesn't mean that they will give it in the future. It means that this is what they habitually do. Makes sense?
Yeah.
The context has told me that, because I know salah is not something you do every second. And I know salah is not something that believers will only do in the future. So I know that the only definition is the continual. Y'all understand? Context is important. So the present tense version of fa'ala is yaf'alu.
Is that a yeah?
We give a sukoon to the fa, we give a dhamma to the end. There's quite a few changes. For example, we can say yarkabu. Anyone know what that means? He rides, or
He will ride.
he will ride, or
He is riding.
he is riding. Make sense? All right. So tomorrow's class, we go through all 14, inshallah. And for the active, not for the passive. And we're going to actually look at a different book tomorrow that inshallah I'll bring our printouts for, so that we can memorize them properly. Assalamu alaikum.
So if you
We forgot.